Hi, welcome to Gary's Hobby Studio. In this video, it's going to be an update on stuff that I've changed in my hobby studio slash server room. Here's the video. Okay, so I was asked to do an update on my server slash hobby room because they said that things, some things should have changed, which some have. Nothing, in my opinion, really major, but to you guys it might be. So far, the rack is still pretty much the same, except for I did add that machine right there, which is, it moved my download machine from the side here to in the rack, which made more room on the floor. You'll also notice too that the second UPS is actually online and running because I got batteries in for it. Still need to get batteries for this. They all three take the same thing, except for they're all three different models. So I got a feeling like the regulators and power efficiency of it running for the runtime and everything is probably different between each model. Because I think that one's a 1500 at the top, that one's an SUA 1000, and the bottom, if I remember correctly, let's see. Okay, anytime you want to focus there, camera. Yeah, it's an SMT. So, through RefurbUPS.com, the batteries are all the same. So, this here, a friend of my wife's who passed away a little while ago, I can't remember how, it's been a few months. He gave this to me plus a Telco rack. It's basically a 2-post rack instead of a 4-post like what this one is. So, and there's still a couple of pieces on it. I don't know if I'm still going to keep it. I mean, I've had it for a little while, the rack. I don't know if, I think I'm going to get rid of the rack because really, I mean, if I move some stuff, I might be able to move things, like if I get rid of, or move this stuff here, I could slide that down, but I mean, I've got like all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to use this machine. I can max it out, I believe, at 24 gig. It's a 4-core processor, so I could use it to like test new virtual machines or use it as a test machine of some type. It's not going to be run all the time. Still got to decide what I'm going to do with that switch that a friend of mine gave me a while ago. It's an 8-port. Still have the 24-port 10100 there, PoE. As far as my painting area goes, I added another Super Satchel cube, and that's where I've been doing my 3D printing at, is there, which you hopefully have seen from the video where I had to, where I gave a review of that. Believe me, I'm no 3D printer pro at all, but it's a decent little machine and it's on sale right now for like 169 bucks. So I would definitely, if you're looking into 3D printing, definitely check that out. But I've finished with my hobby area. I added 2 6 drawers. That green thing's been there for a while. Don't know if it was in the last video. That's been there. I added some more of those in the top so they could fit the 32 milliliter bottles from Vallejo or anybody that makes anything like that, which I have quite a bit of those. And there's some golden, and then that's just a regular shelf unit because I just had a bunch of stuff and I'm like, I don't need the whole type, I'll just get this type. And then this here, I put this together backwards because it had a clear plexiglass front, which I goofed up. I put it together wrong. I can either try to drill the holes to get it to work right or just buy a new one, reassemble it, and then I'll just have a spare box that I can do something with, what I don't know. That I've had. But yeah, I've added a lot. The new stuff is like these, at least this, that, and those two. Yeah, because that's 5 pieces total, because that's what I ordered. So, as you can see, my desk is always a mess. I'm not the neatest person in the world, never claimed to be. I try to keep things as clean as possible, fail miserably. And there's the monitor I use whenever I'm watching videos, especially from Sir Astro, which is what this is. I don't have Star Wars Legion, but a lot of times the painting tips actually help me with other things that I'm painting. I need to replace that ultrasonic cleaner. That's all I gotta say. I mean, it's not bad. It's like 80 bucks at Harbor Freight, and it's not bad, but if I would turn it on, you'd hear it go, bleh, you know, just, there's like something like a fan's bad or something like that. So really, that's the only thing that changed. Oh, I did add, I just picked up today a inline filter slash air regulator, because what I had was, when I tried to tear it apart, the filter part fell apart, but I had a filter, as soon as I can get this in front of here, I'll just set it on the counter there. But this one's a digital regulator, which I need it for, like, I need to have it between 12 and 15 pounds for all clad metal paints, because they're only to be shot at like 12 to 15 pounds. So I need a little finer granular regulator, which that is it, and I picked that up at Harbor Freight for like 15, 17 bucks, something like that. Well, because I wanted something to mount to the desk, and I got this, and I drilled 2 holes, put 2 screws in, and really I don't think it's going to be a problem. If so, I'll move it somewhere. But I needed that to so that I can adjust it to 40 and then use this to dial it back so that, like I said, I can get it between the 12 and 14 pound per square inch range for shooting that stuff, which it comes out really nice. I wish I had C-3PO out, because I did it with him, and oh man, he looks fantastic. He looks like he does in the movie. But here is, whoop, I keep hitting the wrong way. Here is where the main computer is, the P51. As you can tell, I have a whole bunch of little tchotchkes and stuff like that. That's wallpaper that Sir Astro created, which it's free at sirastro.com. And there's the Keurig that if I run it while I'm washing clothes and having all this stuff on, pops the breaker and the main breaker, which I still have to rewire that. I did the Reaper Con Live, which I got their swag, I think the day of the con, and I got this and a bunch of other stuff. I got pictures of it. I'll include it with this video. And also, I shot a hard drive. Oh, that was one thing I forgot. The 420 virtual server right there. That hard drive went bad. I ended up buying 2 of them, and I replaced the one and I put the other one in. They're both Seagate Iron Wolf, so I have a video on that. I'll tack that on too at the end of this. And then here's where, like, for me to like do actual like computer repair type stuff. That's my old W540. It has Pop! OS. I have my personal thoughts on it. It's not like a review where I'm going to show you anything. It's just my thoughts and my experiences. And I wish I could get Debian to work on this. It doesn't. So I'm thinking about switching over to Chrome, or I mean not Chrome, CentOS, and put and be able to put hopefully DaVinci Resolve on it, because I think they have an ISO of the proper version that will work with DaVinci Resolve. I kind of hope they work with 8, because 8's like the latest. But I tacked up that, like, that's been on there for a while. I finally got it to stick. Took forever. And I also, over here, is that I put another outlet strip up there. I used the Gorilla Glue manufacturers, these little square pads of theirs. Holds up really good, because there's one that I first put up, and after I ground down the little raised little feet that they build to the plastic to make it flat, it kind of holds it up better when that happens on that, because whenever I tried putting the tape on it, and then stick it up there, it would always fall down. But yeah, there's my Quiet Tech. It's really not that bad listening. That's what I use to mix my Vallejo paint bottles. I turn them upside down and have it shake. I have stainless steel ball bearings in them. That's where I keep all my airbrush stuff, like the regulator, the cables for airbrushing. Okay, so, and this is where one of the old battery backups that was sitting to the next to the server rack went. Because I have this stuff here, I want something with a little bit of power. Here's the hard drive that I took out of that machine that failed. It was only a terabyte, and that's what I put back in as a terabyte, because it's just a virtual server, doesn't need anything major. Here's my, as most painters would say, this is my small pile of gray, because there's like a big box of it there. Let's see. And I have a closet in the other room that is full of it. Just finished the Kickstarter from BoardGameTables.com. They did a Kickstarter for some play mats that are like large enough to go on your dining room table, which I kickstarted that, so that'll be awesome to get. But yeah, I've got like a lot of stuff there. And there's the boxes that the 2 drives came in. And this is just where I store boxes of stuff that, you know, like one of those has a new 10 terabyte and the other one's just a box for that right there, because I was using, like, these are backups in case if one of the 10 terabytes in those go bad. That way I've got a replacement right then and there. But yeah, I bought that because that's what's in the download machine. I had to replace the AMD version because for some reason it was running really slow. It's actually working really good now. But yeah, there's all this stuff and external drive, and this is where I keep some of my extra supplies of stuff for painting or 3D printing. As you can see, I have alcohol out the yin yang. It's not 90, but I mean it works. I've been using Castrol Super Clean in the ultrasonic cleaner to clean the 3D prints, and then just use the alcohol for like a final rinse. Plus it takes the purple out of it, because I've seen where if you do that it kind of starts tinting it purple, but if you put it in there in alcohol, even 70%, it takes the purple out. Because I don't know how well this is gonna, it kind of looks blue on my screen, but that's just alcohol, that's not even water. But right, you know, like right there's my spray booth, airbrushes. Behind there's the Super Clean, some cleaning stuff, some 2-part resin mix, gloves, some spare paint because I accidentally bought a few bottles of the, you know, like extra bottles of the same thing by accident, and I have it stored in that case on the right. The case on the left next to the box is just, it's a case from Walmart that I have like a bunch of when I was at Origins Game Fair. When I was at Origins Game Fair, I took classes on mold making and making stuff from molds, and we made a bunch of plaster pieces, which plaster's fine if it's not going to be moved, but for like, you know, like portable game, you're like, for my games, you know, yeah, it's no problem if it's here, but if stuff's going to transport to other people's places and that to play, I would rather make this stuff out of resin than plaster, because at least with resin, A, it's a little more durable. I mean, unless you really slam it. But with plaster, you know, it's heavy. You know, like, this is heavy. I could have made this same amount of stuff in resin, and it would have been a lot lighter than what this is. And I need to get a scale at some point. Let's see. Oh, these are the extra bits from the Beholder. This is some stuff from some of the painting classes that I had. But yeah, those are just more plaster bits, which like I said, I mean, I might use them for some things for some of our games, but you know, like this stuff's out of resin, and I can feel because it's definitely lighter, and that stuff's fine. This stuff's plaster, and it's heavy, and it chips, and I don't like that. So that's why, like I said, plaster's fine if it's going to be like permanent. Resin is better if it's going to be transportable. And this case is from Harbor Freight, and it's really nice. I mean, it's really sturdy. I've stood on this thing, and I weigh about around 200 pounds, and it was able to support me. But I have 4 airbrushes in here. Well, one of them's over on the table. My Iwata Evolution sits there. My Eclipse is here. My Neo is here, and this one is my Badger Chrome that I just got for their from the Badger birthday celebration, which should be coming up this November, I want to say. It's a nice airbrush. It's a .21 needle that's in it, and I only paid $56 plus $14 shipping, which this thing's like about a $200 airbrush regularly. I mean, you might be able to find some deals online for it, but I mean, that's not. I mean, the only difference is it came in a fake leather pouch, where you know the other might come in some kind of a case or some crap, which is fine. You know, I don't care. I'm putting it in here. I could fit at least 2 more airbrushes in there, and then this case is full. I may buy 1 more from them. I don't know. My problem is I have to learn how to, which I've been painting miniatures since 2015 when Imperial Assault came out, and I still can't figure out how to thin the paint enough and not make it too thin and not leave it too thick. And oh, and this cabinet I got from Walmart. It's their Ultra HD Seville Classics. I think it's like $134 or something like that. And then obviously this is my portable spray booth. I want to get a better one because eventually, right where all that stuff is, that's where it's going to go. I just have to get a specific size desk to go in there. So, but this one's not bad. It's got it off of eBay for like less than $100, and it's hard to do it one-handed. Ugh, this thing drives me crazy. Alright, so, and you can see it just puts together. There's a turntable right there, which I've used it recently. Like I said, it's not bad. I have to put this behind it, if I can get it to stand up, because you'll see why. I have to put that behind it because you can see that there's white paint on it. And that's because I wanted to see this piece of foam core. The reason being is because even though it's supposed to catch it, it's only a 1 particle like filter type, and there's not a second one, which I may look into seeing if I can change that. because it's allowing the paint to, I mean, it collects some of it there, but the rest of it shoots through, and I just don't want it all over my tools and everything behind it, so that's why. That's why when I get that one set up over there, I have to get this floor done. I can show you that. Here, let me close this up. Okay, because this floor is made out of particle board. You all know what happens when particle board gets wet. It gets all soft and gushy and everything. Well, right here, I don't know if you can see it that well, but see how that is shaking? That's because I had a jug of water like right there. This was a while ago when this used to be my painting area. And somehow it punctured a hole and it leaked, and this got wet because this is now so soft that that's why. And my bathroom floor down here was made out of the same stuff, and we had an issue where the water meter decided to leak and spray upwards, and it got it all wet. So the good thing is the water company had to pay to fix that, because it wasn't us that did it. It was their stupid meter, because it, let's see, they replaced it 2 years to the date. It blew up. As a matter of fact, here, let me show you. Might even still have a picture of that too. And okay. This was replaced a while ago, and it was blue. And that particular unit that had a blue base instead of the brass one that's shown there, okay, the seal blew out. And they came and replaced it with the same thing. So 2 years after the first one, it blew. Luckily, it wasn't that bad. Second time it blew, it was really bad because, and that's the rack he gave me right there. Sorry, I've been trying to clean up. Just turn this light on. Okay, that floor had to be replaced because it got wet because the door was open. It was spraying. I mean, the ceiling tile's gone for multiple reasons. It got wet, and I was trying to track down a short. But anyways, the floor had to be replaced. The water company had to pay for it because I didn't do it, you know. And the guy that replaced that meter said, "Oh, we stopped using those 2 years ago." Yeah, I was like, "That's when you replaced it with this one." And he just kind of shut his mouth, thinking, you know, he was like, "Oh crap, he knows what the hell's going on." Yeah, because they put the bad one in twice. So, but this here is my fault, and I just got to find somebody that can help me. I mean, I either have to pay somebody to do it, or if I can find somebody that can do it for me, I mean, it'll probably take me a little longer, but it'll save me some money. I just don't know. Pretty much the bookcase still the same, other than I added these for my Mazinger Z, the Great Mazinger Z build that I have yet to finish. Bunch of programming books and stuff when I've dabbled with that. There's my Marvel's Crisis Protocol. My Doom the board game. And there's the tokens for it. But yeah, pretty much, I mean, some things have changed, some things are pretty much the same, so. Okay, and here's the video that I promised you in the overview of my room. It's the video of me talking about replacing the 2 drives in the R420. Hi. Welcome to Gary's Hobby Studio. In this video, I'm going to show you, basically, I had one of my hard drives crash. I just got the replacements in today, and right now it's reslivering on the Dell R420. The reason being is because it decided to, like I said, it went bad. This drive is basically 6 years old, give or take, when I exactly bought it. I looked up the manufacturer's warranty on this on Seagate's website, and it expired in 2015. This is 2020. I want to say it was May 2015. I'd have to re-look it up. But yeah, this thing lasted me well past its warranty. I mean, I figure this thing had at least a year, if not 2-year manufacturer warranty. I don't know what their regular drives run, but it's definitely a Barracuda. It's 7,200 RPM, and like I said, this thing lasts me around six-ish years. I'd say for hard drives, if you get, like if it has a 2-year warranty, you get 3 or 4 years out of it before it goes bad. You got your money's worth. Most electronics, they say if you get 3 to 5 years. The reason why I have hard drives is because these things are beat on quite a bit. So I replaced it with same size but different type. And it's one of the Seagate Iron Wolf drives. I bought 2 of them. I got them on Amazon. They were actually $2 cheaper, and I had Prime shipping, so you know they got here in a couple of days. Newegg was saying it could have got here today, but it was looking more like the 11th through the 15th. Which, as soon as I get the one replaced and up and running, I'm going to replace the other one with this one. But basically, and I'm not going to take it out of the anti-static wrap until I'm ready. But let me switch this over. I don't know why. Oh, that's why. And I have to readjust this one for this. Because don't you just love when I don't have everything fixed and running? Alright. Shrink my ugly mug out of the way. But as you can tell, Seagate has actually improved reduced the thickness of it. This is a very older drive. It's really thick. The newer one is like, I want to say maybe a little over half the thickness of this one. But it's a 1 terabyte drive, and for my virtual server, and eventually I'm going to build a storage NAS so that I can just, you know, move everything over to it. And this kind of makes me feel I should not use old drives. I might use them for something else. But basically, planning on building a storage unit similar to the 2 that I have, but they're not going to have as many drives because I'm only running virtual machines. And it'll have a 10G connection, but I can't do that till I get the 10 gigabit switch that I'm eyeballing. I got 2 of them that I'm debating. But let's go, and I can tell you the exact date. Not like most people would care, but I figure, what the heck. United States, I am not a robot. Crosswalks, yay, I love CAPTCHA. Sucks. Hey, I got it right the first time. I hate when I select everything, but it still goes, oh no, you didn't do it, because you got to do something else. Okay, so it expired May 12th of 2015, the warranty did. Now, like I said, that's not bad, 6 years. And that's because, and I have a video on it, I'm not going to tear it apart, but what I do is that I take all these screws out, flip it over, and there's a bunch of contacts that make contacts for the spinning motor here, and also there's a I want to say a small little, similar to this style right here on the back side. I think it's right here. And basically what that does is that if those contacts get a lot of crud built up on them, what happens is, and I doubt if you can see it here, because this cam doesn't zoom in. But if I take it, and let's see, probably bring it up to one of them. But I'm gonna clean off the buildup, and let's see if I can hit. You might be able to see it, but I cleaned this part of it off here with this pencil style eraser, and that's still crud that's on there, and that's just like heat and dirt and oxidation. And what happens, and this is just my opinion, is that it thinks that there's bad sectors, so it tries to recover them, and then it uses up all, because there's a chip on the one side, and it knows how many sectors are total and how many are extra, and it uses those up. And once it uses them up, that's why these drives fail. If you clean these connectors every 6 months or so, you may actually extend the life of it. Now, remember, just like in my video where I actually show you how to do this, okay? If you static discharge, you can fry chips that are on this board. I'm not gonna say, oh, you'll be fine. I mean, I've been doing it for a long while my way. It's worked because, like I said, I try not to wear anything that builds up electricity, static charge or anything like that. Plus, I'm usually touching the computer cases, so I usually ground myself out. But there is still that possibility. I haven't had that happen, but I'm just warning you, there could be a possibility. So basically, you can clean these off and actually extend them, which I have to do all those drives over in the 2 storage units as soon as the 1 VM gets done doing something that I'm having to do right now. But once it reslivers, gets everything copied back over, so it's in a mirror, because I have the virtual server in a mirrored configuration, so that way what's on the one is on the other. So like in the case of this, luckily it was the secondary drive, not the primary drive, that failed, and it was able to work. And then once it's done reslivering, I'm going to swap this one out for it, and hopefully that'll be that. It's probably going to be reslivering for some time, but yeah, I basically, like I said, I bought these drives from Amazon. They were $2 cheaper each one. Plus, like I said, I got free shipping, and they came in today, which is great, because I think I ordered them like 2 or 3 days ago. So, that's not too bad. You definitely want to get a replacement drive in as soon as possible because of that. Because basically, if the other one goes, you lose everything. That's why I believe in backups. I believe in having stuff mirrored on 2 drives. I'm not saying that 2 drives can't fail at the same time, but the odds of that happening is a lot lower than 1 drive failing, which obviously, because like I said, these are drives I've had for years, obviously, because of the one date. Hey, as long as they work, I'm going to keep using them. And this trick can apply to any of them. Western Digital, Toshiba, it doesn't matter. Again, remember 2 things. Number 1, it can void your warranty. Number 2, it can also, like I said, you can static discharge and fry a chip, and then things toast. That's the chance you take. So this is just my recommendations. Like I said, I actually had a drive fail. Luckily, like I said, everything's good. It's kind of like how I have my primary virtual server that uses 3.5-inch drives, which those are used to begin with, and I should get some, because I got a bad feeling the drive may fail in that. But I have them in a RAID 01 configuration. I have 4 2.5-inch drives. They're both, all 4 of them are 300 gigs. I have 2 striped and then mirrored. So out of the 4 drives, there's 2 striped together, and then the primary is mirrored to the secondary. So again, I'm covered in case if I have a drive failure, but I do want to get new drives at some point and try to figure out a way to migrate, because I really don't want to reinstall Proxmox. I'd like to be able to put a bigger drive in and have it do that. I don't know how to do that yet. Just thoughts rolling through this marble I call a brain. But yeah, so like I said, it's one thing about compute. I mean, I could run I can run a RAID on this P51, P53 just by adding a second drive to it. Do I want to do that? No. I mean, it may increase performance, may not, may hurt it. As far as my computers go, as long as I make sure I back up the important files, I'm fine. But yeah, any kind of, like, you know, if you have a Flex Media server, make sure you rate it, like especially the OS drive, make sure it's rated. If it's the, you know, if it's your storage, make sure that you have some kind of, like my storage units use ZFS because I put FreeNAS on it, and soon it's going to be TrueNAS. Haven't tried out the betas yet. I should download those. And like I said, I was going to use the old 3 terabytes, but I need a system that can handle 3 terabytes because the one system I have sucks because it's an older Dell. I'd have to, and I don't want to try to rewire that. That's just going to be more of a pain in the ass than anything else. But if you have any kind of servers, you know, make sure that you have where the system is rated or backed up in some manner. Because like I said, I want to do a FreeNAS build or TrueNAS, depending on when it happens, to where I can put the drives in, move all the virtual machines from the 2 systems onto that, have it in a RAID Z2, maybe even a RAID Z3. It depends. This one motherboard, I may do a Z3. I would need 6 2 terabyte drives. Those are going to be a little expensive because these things were $60, rounding up. And that way, once I move all the virtual machines to that, you know, like I said, I could have up to, if I do it in a Z3, I can have up to 3 drives fail and won't lose any data. I also have quite a few battery backups over there. It's also another thing, different subject. But basically, you know, always make sure you back your stuff up, whether it's the data, image the whole thing, the whole drive. That's totally up to you. But just want to let you know that yes, I had a drive fail. I'm not saying I've never had drives fail, because I did, and I also had a fail when I was young and dumb and didn't know any better. Now I do, because as each time each thing fails, I get, you know, it's like, okay, I need to figure out a way to mitigate this, which is why I have it the way it is now. Because of that one drive that failed, I didn't lose anything. If I would have just had one drive in there, which is kind of like how my pfSense in the 410, it came in at one drive. And I was running it, I don't know, I can't remember what drives. I think I was running on a single drive for a while, and then I don't know if I updated it and something happened, but luckily I was able to pull the config file from an existing drive, because I think I was trying to change drives and I just wanted to do a clean install. But anyways, whatever happened, luckily, because I got a couple of, which I should look into, a couple of 1 terabyte SAS drives for it, because that's what I put on the 410 is 2 1 terabyte SAS drives, because my company was throwing out a Blue Coat machine, and it had 2 drives in it and everything, and yeah, so I got 2 1 terabytes in there, and same thing, mirrored array, so that way if one fails, the other, you know, whichever one fails, the other one picks up or is still running from, either way. So I should look into that, because God only, I should have to shut that down. I should do the little trick that I just showed you on those. Sorry, just thoughts that roll through my head that I say out loud. But yeah, other than that, yeah, make sure that you have your stuff backed up in any way, shape, or form, whether it's a offsite backup, like, you know, one of these, an online one in case if your house becomes a smoking crater, which I definitely want to look into that because of all kinds of stuff that's going on in life. But you know, and always remember this: RAID is not a backup. Okay, Yes, I'm planning on backing up my VMs to an external, but that's where they're going to run from. I still got to look into a way to back them up. Just for some reason, my house becomes a smoking crater. Those VMs at a certain point can be restored. And I have to figure out how to do an online backup. And I know that there's a Proxmox backup software. I think it's still in beta, but I need to look into it, because if I can use it with the cloud service that I'm looking into, that would be good to back up those VMs. And that's something I'm thinking about. So, yeah, as you can tell, like as I was stating earlier, I've got one drive replaced. I'm going to replace the next one, and then that machine's covered. I got to look at because of 2 other machines. So, but yeah, you know, it happens. But as long as you can only do so much preparing. There's going to be some situations where it's just going to get you, and you're caught. I mean, there's not much you can do, but you can at least mitigate as much as you can. Okay, I hope you enjoyed everything, and as I always like to say, have a good day.